welcome to this one.
You don't even know who to look at.
I don't know where to look. Bone of contention. This could be overly contentious, could be under contentious. Some people are going to get mad, some people are going to disagree.
Sad.
And I'd love to hear your opinion. To go straight into the clickbait, why aren't gates that important?
Because they are. Gates aren't important because they are overemphasized by most everybody in the ski world. Mm-hmm. Most everybody in the ski world often, look, skiing's hard. Our egos are fragile, okay? When we go out and stuff doesn't go our way, we need a scapegoat. And sometimes it's just too easy and too convenient and too simple to always use the gates as a scapegoat, in my opinion. Yeah. And it's, you only get 6 or 8 gates to practice a set. And if you focus too much on the gates, then you just miss the whole ski ride. You have 6 turns after that to perfect and to work on feeling. And you just kind of like, if you're hyper-focused on the gates, I feel like that's kind of my biggest pet peeve is you miss the whole ski ride. Yeah, I think. And you put too much importance at the start.
And that's the thing that gates, again, obviously we should revoke.
Gates are important.
Are incredibly important, and nearly everyone needs to work on them. Interesting, Brando Caruso, one of the best skiers on the planet. I mean, his technique's just absolutely flawless.
Yep.
He literally says, I just think about the gate and then shut off.
Yeah, shut the brain
off. Thinks about nothing else. I'm like, oh, that's impressive. But they are important. They are incredibly important. You need to work on them.
But why?
Because they set
why are
the
they
rhythm.
important?
Like the excuse is what every single good coach will say, and rightfully so. They set the rhythm of the course. If you start slow, it's very hard to speed up for most people.
Yep.
If you start in bad position, it's going to cause bad speed issues and going to cause bad flow. It's very hard to correct that. Yes, gates are incredibly important to get a normal gate.
Yep.
However, gates are not the be-all and end-all of ice, and it annoys me vividly of people that get narrow gates. And yes, we're sat here as 2 righties that obviously have all things great in the world. It's a lot easier for righties. I do understand that.
It's not the end of the world.
We're not lefties, but it is way harder for lefties. I can hear Daniel Varco just barking down the street right now.
Leave a comment. Tell us how many big of an a-hole we are for saying that it's not that big of a deal. But you know what? It's not that big of a deal for lefties. Come on. They get 3.
It is more of a... No, right.
They get 3 onside turns.
At the end of the day, we're going to argue about this all day. At the end of the day, in basics, left-footed gates are tougher. We get that. But it's still the same. You have a smaller margin of error. We have a smaller margin of error, of course, because we can push our feet around. We can set. Put your hand down.
Sorry.
But at the end of the day, if you get your speed somewhat close to right, which can be tricky at some places, but it should not be the thing that you mess up 8 times in a row.
No.
Should not be the thing that you blame every tournament round.
No.
Should not be the thing that's constantly there. It's just get the speed right,
Yep.
Find the place, find an image of where you want to pull out, keep your pull out relatively consistent for the conditions. So if it's headwind, obviously change that, tailwind, change that pretty much. But at the basic level, pull out wherever you need to pull out, glide somewhere over the middle of your feet, turn in somewhere over your feet, and then move off. And the gates are a big issue, and I know that, but I feel like so many people will then fall at 2-ball because they had a narrow gate and be like, oh, I fell because of my gate. I'm like, you're 3 balls away from that. Or fall at 4-ball and just say, I can never get past the gate. And yes, I know it makes it harder, but at the end of the day, you can, as a skier that's running 32 plus, I don't think that should really often be the only excuse. There's other mistakes and other ways to get around it. Do not just constantly blame it. So that's my small rant.
That was a little rant. Yeah, I just kind of let you go because it was fun to listen.
I needed that.
Question.
Yep.
Where is it easier to cognitively be aware to think about a key before you go through the entry gates or after you go through the entry gates? Where is it easier to think?
Before.
Yeah.
I get that.
No buoys.
Yeah.
Here are my 2 non-negotiables for the gates. All right. Number 1, you realize that the start of the pull out for the gates, that first move to the left is the start of the course.
Yeah.
Because what you're really trying to do is establish that rhythm, right? So you're trying to establish a rhythm that once you make that turn in and you go through that right hand gate ball, you are on a rhythm where if you were free skiing, you would be naturally, making it around the balls right where you want them to be. So with the gates, I would say the 2 non-negotiables are make sure that you're precise with your gates so that you can adjust them as needed, timing wise. but you have to make the right moves. If the pullout, if you're righty for it like us, the pullout is a offside cut. The glide and that into that transition and that glide is finding stance, understanding your support. That turn is an onside turn, and the cut's an onside cut.
I still think we're overcomplicating the crap out of it. You're just standing on top of a ski.
But what I'm saying,
get to a point where, like,
I don't agree.
And I know it's
for
important.
A lot of skiers
people do it wrong, but
you're a pro.
No, I'm not. But that's the only time I started to think about it was 2 years ago, and everything got worse. But what I'm saying is, I still think
maybe
for
you
the
couldn't
majority,
process all the information.
It's pull out normally. Not
what's
back.
What's normally
just
mean?
Like you would pull out, not back, not forwards. Again, the exact same rules as everything else.
Question.
Find stance, pull out, glide over your feet, turn over your feet. That's the basics.
That's basically what I was just saying.
But in a million words.
No, I have to dissect it. Otherwise, nobody gets what I'm talking about, right? So I'm saying, no,
we're good.
TikTok?
Nope.
Instagram?
Actually, there is a TikTok, but it's
still
blood sugars. There's M&Ms there.
That was a good vlog from Worlds, by the way. That's great.
That.
He just dropped it today.
Mm-hmm.
Go check out HO's YouTube.
Yeah.
You'll know now when we recorded this. So the reason I bring that up, 2 non-negotiables. The way that you move on the gates, the pull out, the glide, the turn in, and the cut, should be what you're trying to do in the course.
Yeah, of course.
That's all I'm trying to say.
Exact same thing, yeah.
That's an easier place to try to make the right movement.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever that movement is, whatever key you're working on to try to find balance, stance, otherwise. So that's why the gates are important, number one, because it gives you a chance to practice without buoys coming at you and anxiety inducing all this, whatever. The second thing that's important is trying to approximate the right speed so you can be on the right path by the right hand gate ball.
Yeah.
And then you're on your way.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I'm giving you a bit of a poke because it's
unbelievable. It ain't fun for me, let me tell you.
Again, no, it sets the rhythm, it sets the routine, but there's so many people that I coach out there that are nowhere near good enough, me included, to not be thinking about anything in the course. If you're Brando Caruso and you have the stance of a gazelle and like ride a ski beautifully, then maybe you can get away with it. But I can't get away with it. If I think about nothing in the course, I would no idea. And again, there's stuff, yes, here and there.
Oh, young grasshopper,
all this stuff.
What are you talking about?
But what I'm saying is, you
have to mold yourself like a clay figurine.
But if you're trying to run 32 and alignment's all that needs to be in your head, which it should be, right? Then
for sure.
Then that's the most important thing. Alignment on your gate, that still sticks as alignment in the course, hips up in the course, rhythm in the course. And it's, yes, gates are important, yes, they're pivotal, but so many people work on the gate, then are like, oh, my gate was bad. I'm like, what about 5 ball? Is it, gate was bad. I'm like, well, what happened at 5 ball?
If you got to 5,
the gate was bad.
If you got to 5, you shouldn't be saying your gate. Reset. It was the reason. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And that's what it's truly a bugbear for me, is that people just, they think about the gate. As soon as they go through the gates, it's like the rest of the pass doesn't even matter. Yeah. The boys are what we're here for.
I know.
And the gates set that. They set the rhythm. They set the routine. But that does not give you an excuse to just not think about the rest of the pass and to figure out how to turn your ski properly. You know, the gate's probably the easiest turn. It's the slowest, unless you do it like you do, which is a little creative. But it's
I like that. Creative.
But it's the slowest. It's the slowest turn. It's the most balanced turn. You have the most time. You have the most time to think about it. So use it. Yes, train it, practice it, get it right. We're gonna get a lot of stick for this. I know.
Don't make it all or nothing.
But then don't say, when I drop you in at the end, say, how was 5 ball? You say the gate was bad.
Yeah.
Tell me how 5 ball was. Tell me that you lost your hips. Tell me that you lost your alignment. Tell me that something happened that wasn't just literally my gates were bad.
The only other reason that I think that they aren't as important as everybody makes them is because as a skier's ability level goes up, as they become better skiers, one of the things that I've noticed, and this is purely objective, like just subjective, me, visually observing throughout the years, but usually when people progress as skiers, it's because one of the reasons is they're able to recover and find their stack or their position quicker, more repeatedly, more consistently. So if you mess up a gate, that's just another opportunity to be able to recover and deal with that crappy line and get back on rhythm. So again, there's a lot. I think the reason we talk about this just now is because we feel like people overemphasize the importance of the gates, not to downplay that you shouldn't be working on it at all. But
it is, in fairness to people, it is probably the most important thing, but that doesn't mean that, like, again, in terms of place in the course, yes, it's probably the most important thing. But to me, the alignment throughout, the stance, the rhythm, the timing, all of these parts, whichever one you need to work on, whichever one you need to set, needs to be thought about on that and needs to be judged after that. And it can break down, it can get better, you can improve. And after, I think I did 17 tournaments this year. You don't think I got some bad 41 gates and managed to deal with it?
I know.
Sometimes I didn't deal with it. Sometimes and a lot of the time you get great gates and bad ones.
Yeah.
A lot of the time I'll get horrendous gates and great ones. And again, that's like you say, I've done probably a lot more of it than other people, so I can set back to a stance quick or whatever it is, But at the end of the day, I think the main reason for me calling this episode why gates aren't that important is because it just really gripes me when people just only think about it. There is 6 boys to go around.
Sometimes it's fun to gripe you.
It is.
Sometimes it's fun to get you wound up.
Seems to be.
Get you all wound up.
It's not even that easy to do, I feel like.
Well, that's gates. I'm sure we're going to talk more about gates.
Yeah, we should probably talk about why gates. The next one should probably be why gates are important.
Okay, we'll do that.
We'll do that somewhere along the line. Maybe the next one. You'll find out in a week.
Thanks, folks.
Thanks for watching.
Come join us. Subscribe.
Drop any questions, comments, angry comments on this one maybe. Say why you think goats are important.
Yeah,
you know,
goats. Let us know why goats are important. Or gates. Because
if they are, and I know a lot of people that they are the most important thing, so let us know why. And we obviously do know that gates are important.
Do you think there's anybody out there that has like a 2-buoy course and they just ski gates 1, 2? No, like seriously.
But 1, 2, boom, do it.
Gates
That's
1, 2.
Completely understandable as long as you judge 1, 2 as well. Yeah. Don't just literally do the gate, then shut your mind off and fall at 2 and say my gate was bad when actually you had a beautiful 1 ball, a beautiful swing to 2, and then you just blame your fall at 2 because of the gates. And I do it. I understand it. Yeah. I use it as an excuse myself. We all do it. But we're sat here in this little camper van, judging ourselves
and going off on tangents.
Judging the world and going off on tangents.
All right, we're gonna over and out this one.
I love it. Peace.
See ya.